My unemployment ran out recently, thus forcing me up my ass and bring into the real world. After filling out more than 50 online applications and not hearing back from a single company, I was starting to lose all hope. It had been a while since I had looking for a proper job, but I truly had no idea how bad it was out there. As quickly as I drove back in, I had given up on the search entirely. The funny part is, I didn't even go to Happy Burger looking for a job. I was just depressed and grabbing a meaty, juicy burger, and that's exactly what I got. I ordered the #2 combo meal, double cheeseburger, complete with the special and quote very secret happy sauce, fries, and soda, which I upgraded to a chocolate milkshake because why not? I absolutely devoured by the food. Afterwards, I sat comatose in my booth, slumped over and almost regretting the binge. That's when I saw the help wanted sign into the window. I had never worked at a fast food restaurant before and knew a little to nothing about frying food or working a register, but I really needed the money and also figured I could get some free meals out of it. It will just be temporary, I thought. Fuck it. I filled out an application and much to my shock, I was standing at the register less than a week later, taking people's orders. Welcome to Happy Burger. How can I make you happy today? The job was simple enough, though I quickly learned that simple jobs tend to be boring as all hell. Nevertheless, I was unemployed, and that's all that mattered. Towards the end of my first shift, the manager, Rick, called me into the back office. Rick was a really short dude who had a blonde mustache and wore cowboy boots all the time. Don't ask me why. The first thing I noticed when I headed in there was that Rick had a weird look on his face, almost like he was paranoid or something. Maybe he is stoned too, I thought to myself. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I got stoned before work, sue me. Matt, right? Rick finally said, looking up at me. Yes, sir, I responded. Did I do something wrong? No, not at all. It's just, well, I had to change the schedule around a bit. I know I originally said I was giving you the afternoon shift, but I need someone to cover the nights now. It's 8 p.m. to midnight. You will be out by 1 after cleanup. Oh, okay, sure, I can do that. If I had known what I know now, I would have told him to fuck up right then and there. Thank you so much, Matt. You are a lifesaver. Starting tomorrow night, that will be your new shift. Cool. As I walked back out of the door, I had a sudden urge to ask him something. I guess I was still curious as to why Rick seemed too frazzled about getting a simple shift covered. Did the other guy just quit or something? He stared at me for a moment, dead-eyed. What? The other night shift worker, I said. Did he leave you high and dry? Oh, said Rick. Yeah, exactly. You are not a quitter, are you? No, sir. Rick smiled, a weird and forced smile. His behavior was odd, to say the least, but I didn't think much of it. I should have been paying closer attention. The night shift was way more quiet than I thought it would be. I also didn't think it would be just me and the other guy working. Pity, that's his name, ended up being pretty cool. Actually, we had a lot in common. Just like me, he also in his early 30s and loves to get stoned before work. In fact, that night we smoked a joint together in the back alley 5 minutes before the work started. That's where we first bonded and shit. My last name was Pitts, he told me. Then in high school, everybody started calling me Petty for some reason. Then it just stuck. That's cool. I wish I had a nickname too. I smiled, choking on smoke. I will see if I can think something is up, he said, grinning. Anyway, we spent the first part of the night just talking. So the manager doesn't come in at night. What about the fry cook? I asked. Nope, just us. Budget cuts, man. But don't worry about it. I will teach you how to work the fryer. It is easy as shit. We are never going to have to work the fryer at this rate, I thought to myself, staring out at the empty restaurant. Sometime around 11 p.m., Pity, not so smoothly, rolled his body up over to the corner, almost like when people try to slide on the hoods of the cars and fail miserably, and headed towards the bathroom. I gotta take my 11 p.m. shit. Don't get too scared without me, Pity said. Trust me, I won't, I said. But I soon regretted my words, because the place actually became very creepy, very quiet, very quickly when you are all alone in there. I decided to head back to the kitchen, coat out of my view from the security cameras, to scroll on my phones while I waited for Pity to finish his business. Only 1 hour left, I thought to myself, and that's when I heard it. It was the sound of one of the chairs in the restaurant being dragged across the floor. At first, it startled me. I picked my head out from around the corner to see if it was either A, a customer, or B, Pity just fucking around. But there was no one there. I walked back to the register. Eyed the restaurant again. The booths were empty, tables wiped down, everything in its right place. Hello, I called out. Nothing. Pity, did you finish your shit? Are you fucking with me? Silence. I was just about to stroke off the whole thing, and that's when I fucking saw it. There was a figure standing just outside our restaurant, face up to the glass of the furthest window. I couldn't fully make out the image in the dark, but I saw enough to know that it was a fucking clown. Shit! I screamed as I involuntarily jumped. Ever since I was a kid, I have always hated clowns. They absolutely terrify me. Luckily, I had gone years without seeing one, until now. I suddenly felt like a scared little kid again. But as quickly as the clown had suspiciously sewn up in the window, I blinked and then he was gone. What the fuck? I thought to myself. I slowly made my way around the register and carefully crept up to the window. I stood right in the glass and looked around the empty parking lot. Nothing. Not a sign of movement of life. Is something trying to fuck with me? Did Pity put them up to it? My heart was beating fast, too fast. Yo, Jesus Christ. I whipped around and nearly had a heart attack. But it was Pity. Dude, what the fuck? You look like you just saw a ghost. For a moment, I couldn't speak. I kept glancing out of the window, expecting the clown to appear again. Why are you looking out there? Pity seemed genuinely confused. I thought I just saw something. I mumbled. Yeah, what is it? I considered telling the truth, but then I realized how insane it would sound, especially coming from a person who is currently stoned. It was a clown, I finally admitted. I expected Pity to laugh at me, but he didn't. Wait, are you serious? You think I would fuck around about that? I hate clowns. They scare the shit out of me. Pity just stared at me for a while, like he was trying to figure out if I was joking. Obviously, I wasn't. I was fucking scared, and his reaction was making it worse. What is it, dude? I asked. Have you seen him too? No, it is just the guy who used to work this shift with me, George. He was saying the same shit. Apparently, he kept seeing some clown. It freaked him out. Was he high too? Nah, the dude didn't drink or smoke or anything. My mind was racing. There had to be a logical explanation here. That must have been why he quit, right? If he quit, he never told me, Pity said. It was a kind of weird, actually. He texted me last week, rambling and shit. Said he had something important he wanted to show me. That night, he didn't show up for work. That's when I told Rick, and he said he had found someone else to replace him. My stomach was knotting up, like someone was trying balloon animals with my guts. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. I didn't want to freak you out on your first night. None of it made any sense. I don't understand, I admitted. So who the fuck is this clown? Pity opened his mouth, but then he stopped himself. It was like there was something he didn't want to tell me. Dude, I shouted. Out with it. Okay, look. George did some research and found out Happy Burgers had a mascot back in the day. A clown. I think his name was, well, Happy. He also found out some old commercials on a VHS tape from the 80s. And he kept saying the clown he was seeing was definitely Happy the Clown. But I didn't really buy into any of it. My heart started thumping even harder. So why did they discontinue him? I finally asked. I think because he was scaring the children. You know, some kids hate clowns. Yes, I do. Anyway, don't trip. It's most likely just some weirdo playing prank on us. Probably for social media or something. I mean, it was a good theory, but this definitely didn't feel like a prank. This felt wrong, but I couldn't exactly explain how I knew that. It was just a feeling. Pity headed back to the register and started cleaning up for the night, while I looked back to the parking lot, empty and still and dark and silent.